We gonna do R.L. Stein's Fear Street the wrong number. It's like summary spring break horror goodness. Starts with two best friends. We got Dina and Jade. And they are over Dina's house and they are bored. It's one of those weekends where you just don't got shit to do. And while they're on the bed, Dina mentions that she has a half brother named Chuck who is gonna be moving in with them because he's a troubled kid. Jade, she kind of thirsty. She just hopes he's cute. So as the time goes on, they get bored and they decide, let's do some prank phone calls. So they start easy with prank calling people. They start with her Jade's sister Kathy, and she clocks them. She's like, I know what you boring assholes. Get a grip. They get a little braver and they call Dina's crush Rob, and she starts flirting with him over the phone, but she never reveals her name because she's shy. She ain't about that life. And when shit starts to get too real, he's like, well, who are you? She clicks. So the next day, it's Saturday, so Dina and her parents go up north to get her stepbrother, the troubled brother, Chuck. She's a little too interested on how handsome he is, but he is a stepbrother, so girl, do you. And while they're on their way home, they see a car accident and the car is on fire, and Chuck jumps out the car and he saves a dog. So she thinks like, oh, maybe he's just misunderstood. So the next day, she makes him a bowl of cereal. He comes down, he pours that cereal out. He's like, honey, fuck these hoes. He ain't say that. I'm just paraphrasing. Typical 90s horror heartthrob, he's complicated. So Dina tells Jade, she's like, girl, my stepbrother, he is a jerk. He is an asshole. Meanwhile, Chuck, her stepbrother, he's getting into a fight with the local bad boy, Bobby. Girl, these hoes pull knives on each other. Like West Side Story. And then we find out later that Dina's dad pulled some strings to get Chuck brought down here after he got expelled from his last school because he got into fights and he's troubled. So Chuck, honey, you're treading on thin ice, ho. So in course in Fear Street fashion, the parents go out of town because they're called out of town mysteriously, and Jade comes over to Dina's house and they start doing a prank calling again, and Jade convinces Dina, girl, call Rob again and flirt with him. So she does it on some shy shit. She's still not confirming that it's her because she ain't brave enough for that shit, and they hang up. So then Chuck, her brother, comes into the room, her stepbrother comes in the room, and he sees Jade, and Jade is like, oh, he's cute. And pretty much Chuck is like, hoes, I want in on this prank calling shit, and if you don't let me in, Dina, I'ma tell our parents that you are doing the prank calls on the phone bill, because y'all know back in the day the phone bills used to be crazy. So Jade and Dina agree, be like, boy, come on, let's do these prank calls. He prank calls a bowling alley and does a fucking bomb threat. Like, he goes from 0 to 100 way too quick. On some like, I'll catch a grenade for you type shit. And then Chuck's like, oh, I feel alive after that shit. Meanwhile, Dina and Jade is like, bitch, that was extreme. He's like, let's do another prank call. And he's like, let's call somebody on Fear Street. And he picks the dude he fought with, the bad boy of Shady Side, Bob, a.k.a. Bobby Boucher. They call Bobby, who lived on Fear Street, who Chuck fought earlier, and they was pulling knives out on each other, him. And then they call themselves the Phantom of Fear Street, and then long story short, the girls get scared because Chuck starts telling too much of a horrific story. And the girls are like, okay, we're going to call it a night, and Jade goes home, and everybody goes to sleep. Next day, the bomb threat makes the news, of course, because it's a bomb threat, duh. But Jade, she's thirsty for Chuck, Dina's stepbrother, so she's like, let's do some more prank calling to get on his good side, a real, pick me. And Dina's like, I don't think we should do that anymore. I don't think it's a good idea, and he's a little unhinged. And then Jade says, girl, if you don't fucking do that, guess what? I'ma tell Rob, who you can never tell it was you during the prank calls, that it was you the whole time, ho. Meanwhile, this is your best friend. You should have gave that hoe a knuckle sandwich. Or give her 2 hands for the price of 1. And so that weekend, Chuck is like, let's do some more calls. And they pick a random number on Fear Street because, phone books exist back then. Girl, they put the phone on speaker and they hear a bitch getting murdered. And as they hear the woman getting murdered, the killer takes the phone and he tells them, sorry, you got the wrong number. The cheese factor got me lactose intolerant. So instead of leaving shit alone because you just heard something that traumatic, Chuck's like, let's go over there and be Captain Saverho. They go to the house in Fear Street because back then they used to have addresses too in phone books. Guess what happened? They find the dead body. And before the cops can get there, because they called the cops on the way, the man with the ski mask on comes out, and Chuck grabs the knife, and he's like, bitch, on guard, let's go, ho. The girls run out the house, and Chuck's like, damn, let me go with these hoes. They run out the house. Chuck still got the knife in hand. The killer pursues them, and they on like some Fast and the Furious type shit. They get back home, and Chuck calls the police anonymously to report everything they seen. Again, because, the police never show up on time when it comes to Shady Side and Fear Street shit. But of course they wanted to remain anonymous, but they didn't dial anonymously like *69. So the cops show up to their house later and they start questioning. Turns out a man named Stanley Faberson, it was his wife who got murdered. And get this, while Chuck, Dina, and Jade and them were leaving in the car, I guess he was so happening to be pulling up, per se. He saw their license plates as they got away and stuff like that. So he's accusing Chuck of killing, because remember, Chuck still had the knife. So young Chuck gets arrested because his prints are on the knife that he picked up in defense when he saw the masked guy coming towards him, but that was the killing instrument. The girls, Jade and Dina, they're distraught, but luckily, Sexy Rob is there to comfort Dina. And Dina's like, I didn't even tell him it was me calling him, but he just starts to have a little bit of affection towards her. But then later that night, Mr. Faberson, whose wife was murdered by the masked man, he's on the news giving an interview on some like Gone Girl type shit. And the girls realize that motherfucker got the same voice as the man that was on the phone that said they got the wrong number. Dina brings the theory to the cops, but the cops are like, no, that makes too much sense. This not gonna happen. So Jade is like, honey, let's go Scooby-Doo in a mystery machine. So now these two bobblehead assholes is on a Nancy Drew shit. So the first thing they do is they go to the restaurant that Mr. Faberson owns and they act like they're looking for a job. Why he goes to get their applications, because we're not online yet, they see that he has a ticket to Argentina. 2 tickets. Mr. Faberson returns. He's like, host, I know the agency did not send you 2 young hosts to work for me. Jade worms her way out of it, and then they start thinking, well, who is the other person that the ticket is for? And then they realize that there's a help wanted sign for the assistant's job. His assistant recently left, which would explain him having an affair with the assistant, and then they go off to another country after the wife is slain. So Jade and Dina, they go to Linda's house, the former secretary, and they're pretending they're doing door survey. While they're pretending to do the survey with her, her phone rings. Linda goes to answer it. It's Mr. Faberson. She's like, I need you to come over and get something. The girls are like, bitch, we got to get the fuck out of here because we was just at his job pretending to apply somewhere. But Linda was telling him on the phone that she needs him to come and get something. So then the girls are staking out her house still, and they pretend like they vanished, and they see him grab something, and then they follow him back to his house, and he throws it away. Turns to find out it's a dead cat. Weird. R.L. Stein got a thing for killing animals. However, after they return from looking through his trash and they find the dead cat, the ski mask man is in their backseat ready to slice and dice these hoes. He tells these hoes to drop it or they're gonna be shish kebabs. Dina goes to the detention center to feel chucking on everything, and she's like, how much wood could a woodchuck if a woodchuck would? And he doesn't like it because he doesn't want them to get killed. He's like, I know y'all ride for me, but y'all putting yourself in harm's way. But do they listen? No. So Dina and Jay go back to the scene of the crime. Girl, they go back to the Faberson house, and they find out that Mr. Faberson isn't the rich one. It was the wife the whole time, and he pretty much is a gold-digging asshole. She was sick of her bum-ass husband spending all the money, so she was about to leave his ass. He offed her ass, and he was about to go out of the country with his side bitch, Linda. But then they realize Mr. Faberson, as they're discovering all this shit, is in the house. Well, I think he comes home or he's in the house. Either way, he's there. So now these hoes got in too deep. They trying to hide out until he falls asleep. Of course, they make some noise and a chase ensues. He locks them in the office and he tells these hoes they're going to be right back, as if they're going to stay. They climb out the window, but the window's up so high they can't just jump. So now these hoes climbed out the window and they stuck in this big ass tree. And then Mr. Faberson comes down on some Texas Chainsaw Massacre Leatherface type shit. And he's like, oh, I'm about to Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. I'm about to chop these hoes down the stick. And just as he's about to start sawing this tree down with the chainsaw, the police arrive because Chuck back at the detention center filled them in on everything. So pretty much for the police to believe them, 2 teenagers had to nearly die and 1 had to rot in a jail cell. After this shit goes down, they become the popular ones in the school. Chuck and Jay goes out and Dina finally gets the courage and her and Rob set a date.